2017, we were at the point of shutting down the company. Then we saw another pain.
Okay, so now I'm about to have a meeting with Hungry Hub. It's one of the biggest reservation platform for restaurants. So yeah, and apparently it's a very huge service, since I asked my interviewees if they know about Hungry Hub, and they said they all know it and they've used it before, and the promos are everywhere when they use their phones. So, I'm sure this interview is going to be very nice.
Before starting Hungry Hub, I was working in a bank for 3 years, and then after working in the bank, I worked in Thailand for a year, Singapore for 2 years in operations manager role, and then I was doing project management for system implementation across 19 countries. So I was in Singapore then, and then I did my MBA in Bangkok for a year, and in exchange in the US and Wharton for 6 months, and then came to start Hungry Hub. Before that, I did my undergrad in so I worked corporate world 3 years, did my MBA, and then started Hungry Hub. Why I started Hungry Hub? Actually, my family is in the hotel business, so and I'm always into tech and geek. So my parents obviously wanted me to join. I'm always a person who likes to do things related to efficiency, optimization and stuff like that. So looking at hotels booking as a thing, and then doing my research for almost a month, the market size and which tourist countries comes most to Thailand and all these different things. And then I came across one data point where it says currently, this is 2010, Priceline Group, which owns Agoda, it's a parent company for Booking.com, Agoda. They were spending $1 billion on ads per year.
Oh,
only on Google ads.
$1 billion.
And this is 2010, when there's no talks about.
Right.
I mean, there was no talk about startup. There was no talk about venture capital in Thailand or in the region in 2010. And already then, Priceline was spending $1 billion. Where do you get $1 billion to compete with them? So I'm like, hotel booking is I just dropped the idea. So I was like, okay, I'd rather go into something that is, I guess you don't require so much funding and you can survive without any big guy. So then I thought about the open table model in the US, which is a restaurant reservation system. Thailand is a big city on food, why is there no reservation system to make it easy for us to just make a reservation? But fast forward, that business failed. 2017, we were at the point of shutting down the company. Then we saw another pain, which I used to take the team out for dinners and lunch every month when we were doing the reservation system, because obviously I wasn't paying them high salary in the early stage. So, and the restaurants that we were dealing with were medium to upper end restaurants. So these guys, many of them have never experienced these restaurants at all. So I'm like, how can they understand these restaurants to sell to them if they've not experienced them as a customer? So I always want to take them to try different ones every month. And every time I see the bill, I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. And usually the culture is the boss pays for the meal in Thailand, which means every meal I would have to pay, right? Even though we're not profitable or anything, we're running at a loss, but this is one benefit that we had to providing to them. So I'm like, why can't there be a solution that let diners know how much they're going to pay before they enter the restaurant, so that there is no surprise at the end of the meal? In Japan, this is very common. There's preset, prefix menu, and
you know about this?
I know because of my research, but in many parts of the world, it's not common at all.
Really?
Or we convert a la carte restaurant into all you can eat exclusively through Hungry Hub. And it was because of my own personal pain. And obviously the restaurants' pain was, there was a lot of platform before Hungry Hub, but all of them were focused on discounts. flash deals, 50% off peak hour discounts, and all these kind of things, which is not sustainable. So we wanted to help them fill in the remaining seats that are empty at the restaurants, but at a price point that is fair, and that the angle becomes, there is still some discount, but it's not too deep discount. It's an acceptable discount, and for a consumer, it's more about controlling the budget and getting to try something new. Yeah, because people are scared to enter a new restaurant. Let's say, for example, you have a date and you want to take her out on the rooftop of like a 5-star hotel in Bangkok. I ask you how much you think 2 people is going to cost you.
Yeah, I'm gonna be nervous in many ways.
Yes,
that's the first thing.
Correct. And many, you might not even choose that place.
Right.
Because that makes you even more nervous. But with Hungry Hub, we allow you to choose anywhere you want, because whatever your price is, there's something nice available for you. So that's basically how we did it. Now we work with 1,200 restaurants in Thailand. Yeah, we sourced about $60 million for these restaurants through our platform.
So your business model is, how do you take money from the restaurants?
We make commission.
How many users do you have right now?
Registered, we have close to 1 million users.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then monthly active also close to 1 million.
Wow. Is it the biggest in Thailand? Like
for the deals, yes, it is biggest.
Wow.
Delivery players are much bigger, but for the dine-in offers, we are number one.
Like I talked to many people in Thailand, and everyone knew about Hungry Hub.
Okay.
I know like your main target at first was like the people who go to like good restaurants where it could be pretty expensive, but is it more for like like an average income people too for now? Is it?
Yeah. It's today 2 people spending $15-20 a meal. You can book a table on Hungry Hub as well. So there are some mall restaurants, there are some like everyday dining restaurants. But people, I mean, the way we position ourselves is more for special occasion.
All right.
But special occasion can be a Friday, it can be a month end, it can be a birthday, it can be anniversary. And it's not just with boss, but it's also with a group of friends. Sometimes the culture is just split equally when you go with like a group of friends, right? But then one person orders a lobster and the other person orders a tomahawk, and you order a fried rice and you have to share the same price equally, right? The Western culture is whatever they eat, they pay themselves, right? But the Eastern culture is, let's split equally, it's easy, right? You just take the bill and divide by 4 people, and then you're like screwed. And you didn't order a lobster or anything, right?
I'm sure like you've been working on this for like long years, I think. And when did you like feel that you got like product market fit, and when did you turn like profitable like, doing this business?
So in 2017, we relaunched the business, right? We were already running very lean. So we were, I think within less than a year, we were profitable.
Okay.
Like on a month to month, but obviously we didn't pay ourselves, and we started paying ourselves, and we increased our pay. And every I would say we were running at break even almost all the time. Every time we had profits, we would reinvest next month into ads. So before we raised, I remember we raised our first round 2019 mid-year. So 2 years after we pivoted. And we were profitable then when we were fundraising. And then when we raised, we obviously invested quite a lot and into people and try to grow faster. And we saw product market fit pretty much like within 6 months after we pivoted. But again, this is again 3 years after we first launched, because then we understood the whole demand supply. And then we slowly launched more products. So when we launched first in 2017, it was all you can eat only. Then 2018 we added buffet restaurants. Then 2019 we added set menus. So we added, and then 2020 we added staycations. So we added like more product. We added delivery because of COVID. And then we have gift cards. We have corporate service. So we've been adding some things or the other, but if you ask me now, we are also profitable.
Mm.
But the last 3 years, when we had funding and COVID, we were losing a lot of money.
Oh,
Yeah, but now last 4 months, I would say we've been net profit.
For like the first like early years, how did you like? Where did the money come from?
So I was working, and I'm still working till today, part-time at my business school.
Oh, really?
As an entrepreneur in residence.
Wow.
So I get like a consultant kind of income
Mm-hmm.
from there. So in the early days, I used to take that money, pay off 3 or 4 employees using my consultant income that I spent a few hours a month. We didn't pay ourselves for the first almost 4 years.
Wow.
But I was getting salary on the side, so
Oh yeah.
I was living at bare minimum. Yeah, but obviously I was living with my parents. I still live with my parents, so I don't have that high cost of
Right.
living. But now today I have decent salary. I would say half of what I can earn outside if I was working in a corporate.
I see.
But I think all startup founders are earning
Right.
at maximum half.
Like you've had like a pretty like an elite career, and like you went to MBA, and
Yeah.
like, I'm sure like you were able to like make a good amount of money if you just worked for a big company, maybe in Thailand or some other country. What made you what drove you to like, what motivated you to become a founder and like challenge these things? Like, what were you scared, or how did you feel?
I've heard of all these statements. They say founder is a rich kid's game. But I feel like it's, for me, I worked outside already for 3 years. I've got, at 21 I was earning, I think, a decent salary. I started working when I was 19. I think at 21 I was doing like about maybe 70K US salary.
19?
Yeah, I completed my uni quite young.
Is that possible? Like, how's that?
So I completed my high school at 17, and in Australia it's a 3 years bachelor's program.
Okay.
But I finished in 2.5 because I did 1 summers in Thailand and transferred the credit.
I see.
So yeah, before 20 I already started working in the bank. So when I finished bank 3 years, I was around 21, I think. So I was getting offered like six digits US dollars like annual salary when I was 21. But I was like, I had savings. I was not running after the money. I was like, it was getting like a lot of red tape. I feel like we were doing things to please the boss so that you can grow a level or 2 levels, right? But it wasn't like you're doing something to create impact to the customer or like you see significance of your work outside. So it was like a lot of doing reporting, calls, presentations. So it was like not fulfilling. So I wanted to just build something that never existed to exist. That's it. I was just like, I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to like just see if I can do it. Like I can do something that doesn't have structure, that doesn't have any guidance, and just start something totally new. That's all I wanted. I didn't know what, I didn't know why or how, and that's all I did. I didn't know about the money. Back then there was no startup success case.
Yes.
There was only players like probably Zuckerberg or like Uber hasn't even started or like hasn't even taken off then. So
Really?
2010.
What was 20? Okay, wow.
Yeah. So 2010 was when 2011 was when I left the bank. Yeah, so that time it was like 2014, 2015 was when the startup hype started coming up, and that was when I started Hungry Hub. But I already had the idea since 2012, but I didn't have the team. That's why I went to do my MBA. And the reason why I chose MBA in Thailand is because I lived abroad for 5 years. I did my undergrad in Australia. I'm a Thai. I did my high school in Thailand. But I lived abroad for so many years and I didn't have the business connections.
I see.
I didn't have the team to start.
So is your like co-founders or your team?
So from my MBA school.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. But then they all became silent partners.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So ended up having my brother-in-law who joined me from day one.
Oh really?
Yeah, and he wasn't my brother-in-law then. He was like my girlfriend's brother. And yeah, I have a CTO that my CTO helped find. My partner helped find the CTO.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So one of my silent partner helped me recruit the tech because he is strong on tech, but he didn't want to go in full on. So he helped screen and recruit freelance.
Like you've never thought of like getting investments at like an early stage, or is it not an option here in Thailand?
No, because the business, there was no like the number. Obviously, I was fundraising, but it's 2014 to 2017 Thailand was not easy. I think it was very early days and not many investments at that time. And our business was also obviously not working. Right? The model didn't make sense. That's why we had to pivot. So 2017, when we pivoted, we were like, we're gonna go on the direction of being profitable right away, so we don't have to be dependent on investors. Because we tried fundraising, we couldn't. But then, luckily, while we were profitable, investors approached us, and it became a very easy conversation. Because we pitched at events at times, so it was okay. We got some exposure.
When did you get funded? Like recently?
So we got funded 4 rounds since our first round. 2019 middle of the year, 2020 middle of the year, 2021 end of the year or something like that, and then 2022 middle of last year. Middle of last year was our last round of funding, Series A. Yeah. So now we're trying to raise Series B, but we think it'll probably be around next year.
So next year. So,
yeah.
So you're looking for investors.
Yeah.
Like when you do that, like I mean, at your stage, like it must be like a pretty good amount of money. So like, would it be overseas investors or?
Yeah, mix. Maybe open to both. Mainly looking at overseas because one of our reasons for fundraising is also expansion. Because right now in Thailand we're already profitable, and we're doing a decent amount, and a lot of our cost is shared costs, whether we are in Thailand or international, like tech costs, management costs, right? Server costs. A lot of our costs are like fixed, whether we're in Thailand or we're in 2 or 3 countries, right? So it's just a matter of like marketing and sales, marketing and sales, and maybe a slight operations that is more on the ground. That's it.
Which country are you looking into right now?
So looking at Southeast Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia. Singapore and Malaysia are 2 low-hanging fruit. I lived in Singapore for a while. Malaysia is very similar to Thailand. Yeah, I would say these 2. And then there's Indonesia because we have team there already. Yeah.
I do thought that there is opportunity in Japan. There is a lot of competition in like the reservation area, but I don't know. Like
I mean, but the thing with Japan is the restaurant size are very small. And the concept of Hungry Hub is more about like sharing and going in groups and all these kind of.
Like how big though?
Like average restaurant size that we work with is like 30 to 40 seats.
30 to 40 seats?
Yeah, average. And we go up to like 500 seats, 200 seats.
Okay.
Most restaurants in Japan, from what I see, is like 10, 15.
Yeah.
Right? So in Thailand, because of real estate in Japan is very expensive. But in Thailand, like there's a lot of malls, and if you go to any restaurant, you see most of them has at least like 30 to 50 seats. Because otherwise it's just not worth it, like the cost of the chef. And like over here, labor is cheap, so you can have a lot of people. Like over there, it's like 1 person manning, like or 2 people manning the whole 12 seats, right? Over here, it's not like you have to have a waiter. Like over there, is a lot of machines. Like you have, it's a lot of self-service, right? In Thailand, it's more like full service. Yeah, so I think the number of restaurants that fits within what we do is also.
What's like an average group of people who like reserves?
2-3 people.
2-3 people.
But there are like 6+ is 25%.
I see.
And that's
where the money is.
Yeah. And a lot of corporates come to us with like they have a budget of like let's say $30 per person, and they have 80 people, and they want to go to a place with free flow beer. Within this BTS station, we give them 5 choice within the day, and then they choose with us. So we have like a concierge service because we represent like 1,000 restaurants. So we know which restaurant is already selling with us, what price, and which one fits well within them. We work with a lot of buffet restaurants as well. So like hotels, like big buffet restaurants and stuff like shabu shabu, yakiniku.
Like, why can't like big corporates copy your business?
They can, but our strength is, I think today there's no one in the world that has created set menu for 1,000 restaurants. We're not a platform where they just come and upload what they want to sell. We are a platform that tell them like what to sell and what price, and it will work.
I see.
So we are semi-consultants and sellers at the same time.
Okay.
We're not, and we reject deals that we don't think will sell because we don't want to put junk into our system. But corporates or whoever comes in, they will not do like that. They'll say, upload whatever you want and we'll sell it for you.
I see.
But that's the way to make people feel like, oh, you have a bad deal, and then people forget about it.
So when you started your business, was this space, like the food reservation space, not too competitive? Because in Japan, it's very competitive. Like
in Thailand, there is no real need for a reservation system. We tried to do it, and we failed. And there is another place still doing it, but there's only a handful of restaurants that need a reservation system. In Thailand, most restaurants are always available. So you make one phone call to 99% of the restaurant, and you get a table. But when there is no pain, calling is cheaper and easier and more guaranteed because you feel there's a human touch.
So
I didn't think about it too, but then I tried to convince people that I was easier than calling. But there's no way possible. People are used to that calling. But when the calling is hard, then the solution is needed. You get it?
I get it perfectly now.
Yeah, but the number of restaurants that reject you when you call is like 1 in 1,000.
Yeah, that's with like just copying, like services from another country.
Yeah, because you don't understand why those countries have that.
Thank you for watching. In the next video, we will discuss further on their ambitions to expand globally and become a global B2C startup from Thailand. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.